Hello friends, today's session will talk about the new public management, which is the part of the MP-011 Unit 16. And in this topic, we'll cover the concept and definition of new public management and its origins, and what are the core principle of new public management. And after discussing the core principle of new public management, we'll draw what are its perspectives and the criticisms, or its will draw a reference of its applicability to the world in the state administration. So let's start with the concept of new public management. So the concept of new public management in the discipline of public administration came in the late 20th century, particularly after 1970s, and it is because of this writing and few challenges which we had in the traditional, that is the Weberian model of bureaucratic system or state administration, which had some loopholes. To address these challenges, the intellectual of the public administrations, they have questioning through their different study this traditional or the Weberian model of bureaucratic system and its address its challenges. So let's focus on what is exactly new public management is all about. So the new public management is the application of tool, technique, principle and practice of private sector management into the government sector or the public sectors. So it is a combination of the two opposite things. One is the method, the technique, the tool, which is being introducing or operating in the area of private sector for the efficiency. The other one is the service sector of the government organizations. So the combination of both in the using of the private sector tool and technique into the government service sector. So we'll have a good performance in terms of three, that is the economy, efficiency and effectiveness. So the real focus is to improve the governance system in the public sector, that is the government sector. So the concept that is the new public management was first introduced by the Christopher Hood with the Jacksons in 1991, and with his pioneering article published, that is a public management for the all seasons, where Hood argued that there are some challenges in the Weberian and the scientific management model of the state administrations, which had been continuing, and to address these challenges to improve the governance system in the public sector, the public sector reform need to have some reform in the public sector. So what are the driving factors which push NPM in the discipline of public administration? What are the driving forces? So let me identify a few driving forces which push for the introduction of the NPM in the discipline of public administration. Number one, that is the globalizations. Globalization is one of the factors which push for the introduction of the NPM in the area of public administrations. The second one is the managerialism, or the managerial orientation of the public administrations. So the introduction of the managerial pattern in the public administration, because the state affair has to be managed, and the objective of the management is to having efficiency, effectiveness and economy in the state administration in terms of the achievement of the objective of the public policy, which is set each and every policies. And number two is the citizen satisfactions, addressing the citizen problem. Therefore, because of the ongoing, because of the proceeding of the time and different problem having in the society and which problem has to be addressed by the state. So there has to be innovations to state administration to address the societal problem. Therefore, the adoption of the managerial pattern in the public administration. The other one is the reform and innovation. How you have to adopt the reform and innovation to address the societal problem which has been arises from time to time. So these are the few driving forces which push to introduce the NPM. In addition to the three forces, there is another one also, which also the part of the managerialism, that is the impact of the public choice theory in economics. So these are the factor which push to introduce the NPM in the later 20th century in the discipline of public administration. So let me focus. What are the core principle of new public management, or the core theme of the new public management? So far as the core theme identified by the scholar are included, such as the adoption of private sector principle and practices in the field of public sector management, which is the core theme of the NPM. The second one is the bureaucratization process. Later on, I will discuss each and every point. The third one is the market oriented. So the state services need to align with the market forces which is available in the contextualizing things. The latter one is the accountability and transparency in the state administrations. The next one is the managerialism. How the managerial factor, as I said, push NPM to introduce in the public sector to have the three, that is the efficiency, effectiveness, and economy in the system. Then the other one is the productivity, that is the performance-based target. That means production. Production means, suppose the state is implementing its policies, its production is to achieve its objectives. Objectives must be achieved within the scheduled time and within the allocated budget. Therefore, what I want to convince you is the productivity of the state has to have 3E and achieve within the scheduled time, on-time delivery and on-time achieve of the objective of the set public policies. The other one is citizen-centric. What is citizen-centric? Citizen-centric, I mean to say that, see, the entire things, the entire state apparatus is for the citizen only. Therefore, the system has to be friendly to the citizen. Citizen can easily access to the system, and it is all total the objective or the end of the public policy is the citizen satisfaction. Therefore, citizen is the center of the state administration. Let me focus on the other point, the result-oriented management. That means the result is result would be emphasized over the procedures. I'll later on discuss in that. Then the next point will go into the entrepreneurial spirit in public management, and that means innovation has to have a space so far as state administration is concerned. The last but not the least, the collaborative governance, that is the partnership government. That means government alone cannot address the problem which arises in the society. Therefore, the non-state actor, it may be NGO, it may be any other civil society, community, has to have a collaboration. So now we can see the network governance, that is the civil society, government, and the market. The last one is decentralization process. So in Weberian model, In Weberian model, the bureaucrat, we can call it the bureaucratic leviathan. The everything is centered around the centralization of the policy making. So it is the center who will take the decision and let the policy be devolved to implement by the implementing agency. But the NPM emphasis on the decentralization of the decision making. So I would like to focus each and every point thoroughly so that the viewer can understand each and every point and can reproduce when they will appear for the examinations. So let me first focus thoroughly on the adoption of what are the principle and practices which are being adopted by the state agencies, which is taken from the private sectors. As I said, the primary thesis of the NPM is to borrow the principle and practices of the private sector and apply to the public sector. And the objective is to, why we are applying the private sector tool and technique to the public sector, the objective is to, number one, we have to make the system efficient, effective and economic. That means whatever the government doing through different policies and packages. That means, number one, that objective need to be achieved within limited time. The scheduled time, what we can call the on-time achievement of the set goal of the public policy, number one. Number two, that the objective of the policy need to be achieved within the allocated budget. It does not mean that after some time, suppose if Manrega is being implementing, and to address two things. One is the rural poverty as well as the rural infrastructures. But after some time, say 2-3 financial year, we have spent a lot of money. And spending money has a target to improve the rural infrastructure as well as elevating people from the below poverty line. Suppose we are not able to achieve the two target, that is the infrastructure, addressing the issues of infrastructure, and the addressing the poverty issue where people has to be elevated from the below poverty line. That means our resources, that is the financial resources as well as the human resources are being wasted if you are not able to achieve the targeted goal. Even though 100% not possible, at least as maximum as could be achieved. Then and there you can say, the public resources have been utilized and the policy objective been achieved, though it is not achieved 100%. So for that reason, the government business plan, custom relationship system, CRS, what you can say, and financial analysis has to be commonplace in public organizations. So as I said, NPM is focusing on efficiency, effectiveness, and economy. So for that reason, NPM also follow the principle of cost cutting, privatization. So debureaucratization is the one of the process where the service, the non-core service of the government are being privatized, and the private player provide the service to the government. Take the example, in the railway, we are outsourcing the cleaning system. For cleaning, most of the train or the platform are being outsourced by the private player who are providing service to the railway in terms of terms and conditions, whatever they have agree upon. Therefore, when the private sector, private player providing the service, certain term and condition need to be fulfilled, and in return, the private player has to provide service efficiently, and by their specialized expertise. Hence, it serves the quality of the the service, it enhances the service quality. Therefore, debureaucratization or outsourcing of the services is one of the philosophy of the NPM. So let's focus on the other point. As I said, the accountability and the transparency. I will discuss in two different perspectives. One is the accountability. In NPM, accountability implies that it is not the procedural accountability. Therefore, the accountability of the result. So the result over the procedures. That means we are accountable. So to take the example, a health policy is ongoing, implementing in a particular state or district. It is the Department of Health, particularly in the project level, the Chief District Medical Officer is responsible for implementing such health policy and achieving the target within the limited time, whatever the time has been fixed so far as the policy paper is concerned. So the CDMO must not be overloaded by the procedural things and forget the objectives. What we can say in the public policy, the baby water must not be thrown with the baby. Here the baby is the objectives and the baby water is the procedure. Hence, if a objective has to be achieved, as I said, so far as the health is concerned, so we must not, the agencies, the implementing agencies must not be overemphasized and they must not forget their objective over the procedure. That means procedure has to be followed, but procedure must not be the priority to achieve the objective. Hence, end is the prime important than the procedure. Therefore, NPM emphasizes that it is the objective, it is the result which is overemphasized over the procedure. The other one is the transparencies. See, if the system need to work efficiently, effectively, and have to have economy, there must be the maintenance of transparency. That means citizen has to be informed about what is happening and what is not happening in their surrounding, social surrounding. That means a policy's procedure as well as the objective need to be informed by the government to the citizen. And right now, particularly in India, there are so many mechanisms to inform the citizens. And that is through the Citizen Charter, through Right to Information Act, Service Delivery Act. So many mechanisms state has been developed to ensure that citizen of the country has to be informed so far as the governance process is concerned. Therefore, NPM emphasis on accountability as well as the transparency, because accountability cannot be established without the transparency. Therefore, so both are the two sides of the same coin. One cannot be achieved without the other. If there will be accountability, so there must be a transparency. So let me focus the other point, the productivity of performance targeted. What the government would like to produce so far as the productivity is concerned. As I said earlier, that goal is important. And what is our goal? The result. So it is the performance which is emphasized over the input. So the goal is to achieve more output and serve to the citizen within the available resources. And therefore, in NPM, what we'll call it doing more with less. That means the state means the state agency need to do more within the available resources. Resources could be the human resources could be the financial resources. So that means within the available resources, we need to achieve more. there must be some requirement, basics requirement, that within the basics requirement, within the basics infrastructure, we have to work more. So NPM principle emphasizes a result over the procedure, as I said, setting clear and measurable performance target. So how a policy could be measure the key performance index or the key performance indicator has to be set to judge of its success as well as the failure. If the policy has been success, that could be replicated to somewhere else because this policy has been success. Therefore, the other places the same policy can be replicate for success. And where the policy has been failure, we have to look critically why this policy is not been achieved. Therefore, accordingly, we have to address its challenges. So the other one is the citizen-centric. As I have discussed, the entire process is only and only for the citizen. If the citizen demand, if the citizen expectation and the citizen satisfaction is not achieved, then the entire process, the result of the entire process is almost zero. Therefore, in the NPM, the citizen satisfaction, citizen needs, citizen expectation has to be addressed. Therefore, the NPM, in the NPM, the citizen, it is also known as the citizen-centric administrations. Here, the citizen is the epicenter of the administration. Everything is for the citizen, by the citizen, and of the citizen. Undoubtedly, state has the agency to do the work, but the goal is to satisfy the need of the citizen. Therefore, how will make the citizen happier satisfaction. Therefore, there must be citizen grievances cell. That is the reason why the government of India have introduced the citizen charter, citizen grievances cell. In every public offices, we have a citizen grievances cell. Take the example. In the rural area, the collector, the sub-collector or the SDM need to spend at least one day for the public grievances. That is called the public hearing. And people can directly come and complain whatever they have in their problem directly to the concerned authority in the district. It is the DM. So since the NPM is emphasizing on citizen, therefore the citizen demand has to be taken on the priority basics. The other point I would like to highlight is entrepreneurial spirit in the public management. Means when the government management is managing the government affairs, the focus point is entrepreneurial government, entrepreneurial spirit, entrepreneurial mindset होना चाहिए, and it encourages innovation and risk taking in the public sector management. This create an environment where the public servant, the agencies, the district collector is agencies, chief district medical officer is agencies, SDM is agencies. The agencies serve to the individual or the concerned contextual area or district and experiment with new ideas and approach where the social problem could be addressed better, because they are working in the concerned field. They can know the problem, therefore they can also know the solution of the problem through their innovative idea. If the agencies, the local agencies, that is I call the DM is a local agency, local implement agency, if they would have given the freedom to take the decision, undoubtedly it is a risk factor, but if they would have been given the freedom to take the decision, they may address the local problem in a better and in a efficient manner. So the other point I would like to focus is in the managerialism. What is managerialism? As I said, the managerialism is one of the crucial factor which drive to introduce the new public management in the discipline of public administration. Therefore, the managerialism is one of the greater role need to be played in the new public management so far as the state affair is concerned. So NPM strongly emphasizes on customer and outcome of the inputs. So here the citizen is a customer, and addressing the customer interest, addressing the customer demand is the prime objective of the government, that is public sector. Therefore, it means to focus on the impact of the service delivery and impact of the service delivery on the life of the citizen. How the citizen are being impacted positively by the implementing of these various policies of the government, and it has to be assessed through different indicator as developed by the state, and accordingly the government allocate budget for the success of the public policy. The last but not the least, the decentralizations. What is decentralization? As I said, in a Weberian model of bureaucracy, everything is centralized, and the central agency is to take the decisions. But right now, it is the local player, the unit, the agency which can take the decision to address the local problem in an efficient and effective manner. The other one is the collaborative governance. As I said, government alone cannot address the problem of the society which is arising from time to time. Therefore, the government need to have a collaborations, partnership governance. What is partnership governance? The partnership with the non-state actor. That is the in new public management, you can say the network governance. That is in the state, civil society, and the market. They jointly put hand together to address the social problem. Then and there, the social problem arises in the society could be addressed properly. So let me very quickly focus on the critical appraisal of the NPM. What are the prospects and challenges of the NPM? Very briefly, I'll conclude it. It increase efficiency, streamlining operation, reduce bureaucracy, red tapeism, enhance accountability, improve responsibility, citizen-centric administration, I already have discussed, and produce the smart government. As I'll discuss a little bit, take a few seconds to what is smart government. But see, anything cannot come with merit only. There is also some criticism so far as the NPM is concerned, as the critics argue that the NPM basically following the tool and technique of private sector management to the public sector management, and which domain is totally different from each other. The private sector is profit seeking area, and the government sector is service seeking area. Therefore, it cannot be applicable, number one. Number two, when you are applying the private sector tool and technique to the public sector, it undermines the social justice, equity, welfare, so and so. Therefore, it has raised the intellectual raised so many questions as far as NPM is concerned. Thank you. If you have any question, you can interact with my email or my WhatsApps. Thank you.